There he goes. That's the beast. And
what up, beast?
It very much started out as a. I mean, is this like a time question? Are we trying to get like a couple more in here?
We're on your time.
Oh, okay, then good. Then get comfortable.
Girl, I got my popcorn, got my drink. So up first, he is a writer, director, and a professional special effects artist. He is the one and only Rick Prince.
Hey, thanks, kid. Thanks, Danica. Thanks for having us.
Of course. You're looking so snazzy this evening.
Dressed to impress as always.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and bring out our next guest. I'm very excited. So he's a special effects artist, makeup artist, fabricator, conceptual design artist, you name it. It is the one and only Rashaad Santiago.
Hello.
Whoa.
Thank you for having me.
That was solid.
Yeah.
That's the entrance that the villain does, like in a film. Yes. Like when you're just about to tell us.
Villain.
100.
Right. I was going to say you have like sharks with lasers attached to their head. I don't know.
They're here. They're definitely here.
Mr. Santiago always makes an entrance.
Awesome. Well, it is such an honor to have the both of you. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. So let's just get right into it. So one of the things, obviously the world is different right now, question mark, to say the least. So let's say that someone like Danica and I, who has never really dabbled that much in special effects makeup, wanted to try like a basic special effects application. What do you think would be something simple that a person like Danica and I could use or do with materials that we might have just laying around the house?
Rashaad?
Oh, thank you, Rick.
Sure.
One way that I started was Elmer's glue and toilet tissue. It's really cool for doing like scars and rips and things like that. And for making fake blood, you could use Cairo syrup and red food coloring for doing the all kind of gore effect. So those are two that I used to do coming up when I was very fresh, very green in the industry. Rick?
Well, thanks, Rashaad. I'm learning my left and rights. At home, there is a limited amount of things that you might be able to get that aren't your traditional makeup. And you can do a lot of special effects with mom's makeup, as it were. You just have to pick the right color combinations. You can get bruises and scratches and cuts and different things. Mom's permission first. Make sure you do that. I don't want to hear it from all these angry moms like, God, Rick, all your advice. But beyond that, like Rashaad said, again, stuff from Kroger you can get easily to go along with that, or the Cairo syrup with the food coloring, little dash of detergent so that it'll come out a little easier. And there are recipes for this online. I would check out Squib Effects with Tolan Effects. They have a recipe. They do a bunch of squib rigs. We've used them on our past films, and they have a free recipe online.
Ooh. See, I was going to say, Rashaad, the one thing I used Elmer's glue for, and I don't know if it was the same with you, Danica, I would like put it all over my hands then rub my hands together and make like glue balls. But that's,
glue monster. It's super fun. And then you become a lizard, it's great.
Fair enough.
I used to let it dry on my hand and then just peel off a copy like of your
one layer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Put safety pins or something in between, and you could have that stuff dangle.
Oh yeah.
Good times.
We used to, Heather and I actually took a home ec class together, and we used to stitch the top layer of skin just like in patterns on your hand. It's I don't recommend it, but kind of in that vein of questioning.
We're weird.
What would you say is the absolute messiest product or medium to use?
One of the more difficult to deal with is something like Methicil. Something that when activated with water or whatever will continue. It's like KY is another alternate for slime. You're talking about alien spit. He slimed me from Ghostbusters. That's a Methicil kind of agent where you mix it up and then it's clear. It's not like it's a big deal, but it's slime. So when you try to clean it, it just, and then when you put water on it to clean it more, it just reactivates it, and it just seems like you clean this stuff forever.
Oh, that's fun.
So what
Demogorgon, if I put water on the Demogorgon back here, he would do the same thing. You just have to. Oh my God!
We had an incident in it was Colorado, or was it
Canada?
I can't remember.
One of the two.
It was one
in California. I don't know.
It was one of the shows we went to where we were trying to clean him up after, and we were going through, like, we had used all the hand towels that were in the hotel room because we're trying to clean it.
It's water soluble; it'll wash out, no problem. But man, it's just slime again. I think we got it. No.
The staff must have been so confused.
Yeah, I would.
It's the red towels they worry about.
Fair enough. So, out of curiosity, do the two of you guys remember the very first special effects makeup that you ever applied, and would you consider it to be a success?
You talking about on ourselves or on another person?
Just maybe the first one in general. How about both?
Well, the first one I ever did to myself was, like I said, was a combination of Elmer's glue and toilet tissue, which was just, I think it was a burn or something on my cheek, and I was really happy with the turnout. And then the ball kind of got rolling from there. I used to stick like screwdrivers and things through the like tissue. It was weird stuff, all the weird stuff that we're into. And I actually didn't apply my first like foam latex appliance until Face Off.
Oh, really?
Whoa.
Wow.
That was your first time doing it? Damn.
First time. Learning as I went.
I knew that.
Told us.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exclusive.
I went through I watched some videos, and basically the show I was basically a sponge on the show. So when they, before they start recording, they say this is where all the products are in your kit. If you want to go through your kit and find out where everything is. So I went through my kit, and I was like, all right, that says adhesive. That's what I need. And, they actually ran the foam for us. So when you came in the next day, there'd be like a prosthetic sitting there. And you follow the line of your person's face. And I remember somebody saying that they started here in the T-zone and then worked their way out. And I've been doing it that way ever since. So it was pretty fun.
That's why I don't have any of this, because Rashaad blows my hair in my mind with that stuff. Like, I just watched the show, walked in, and just,
What about you, Rick? Do you remember your first?
One of my first little batch would probably have been a little series of like Wuchi brand appliances. That's it's a generic brand name that you can get off the shelf. There was a little place, a costume store down here on West End that had some little appliances. So for the first appliance, that would be something, again, a bolt or something, the little screw, the little preset things that they had. And then my first on talent makeup goes out to my mom. Thanks, Mom. Yeah, my mom let me kill her, cut her throat. That was for a short film with a friend of mine who was, we were the Super 8 kids. This was back, he had I think it was a 16, Super 16 or something that he had. James Brown was directing, and we went over to his house, and my mom came by and let me cut her throat, and we laid her out on the couch, and she did not breathe for way longer than we all thought was possible. Sold it. Way to go.
Yay, Mom.
Yeah, so there's some magic footage out there somewhere in the universe of my first on-talent makeup.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah.
So I actually have a question that was pitched to me from a friend of mine who also dabbles. She's a costume designer, and she's the one that asked me to ask you this. What are your favorite resources for learning sculpting 3D techniques? And do you have any books that you can recommend?
When she says 3D techniques, just like out of clay, or is she talking about like on the computer?
Actually, both. I know she does 3D rendering on the computer as well.
Oh, okay.
If you have either or both, is I'm sure helpful.
Sorry, I was looking at my bookshelf here, but
since I dabble in both, reference material is probably your best. Tell her to fill that internal database, watching as much nature shows and looking at different textures and patterns and things like that. A lot of that stuff comes into play for you to be able to recall when you're actually sitting down in front of the clay sculpting. And I know the computer sculpting digitally it frees you from the constraints you have with sculpting in real, because you don't have to build this big armature, and your sculptures can be very abstract with like huge horns, and there's a lot of takeaway that you can do with digital sculpting, which is a lot of fun. And the amount of detail, like you could just keep zooming in and putting small wrinkles that you'll never see. But I don't think I've read any books. A lot of the stuff that I learned over the years for sculpting came from watching people that I loved, like Steve Wang, who is like one of the greatest sculptors of all time. Just kind of watching him and talking about his method. And a lot of times if I want to learn something, I'll look at the way another artist does something or the way another artist does it, and then I'll try to implement that or incorporate it in my work and in my sculpture.
Awesome, thank you.
Rick?
Well, thanks, Rashaad.
You're welcome.
I'm going to date myself a little bit by a generation gap or two and go back to traditional hardbound books that you can check out. And it is much to Rashaad's point where you kind of follow on the backs of the giants before you, as it were. So if you can find a legend, an artist, a sculptor, or someone that gives you behind the scenes information. So there are a couple of books that I would say, Behind the Mask is a fantastic book. You check it out on Amazon. Behind the Mask. It's got Big Predator on the front, and it's obviously a behind the scenes book. Yeah, there's one. You want to get one of those guys? Yeah. And there's one. Yeah. So, and you get a predator. And you get a predator.
They're actually here. We just can't see them.
Yeah, exactly. On the right topic.
I'll go.
The Winston Effect is another fantastic book. And then if you want to follow the greats, if you can get a hold of a copy of Rick Baker's Metamorphosis, it's a 2-volume. This was a gift from my baby. And yeah, you can still pick these up, I believe, out and around there. It's a 2-volume set that follows Rick Baker's career and gives you just insight beyond insight, sight beyond sight. It gives you some of that good stuff. So those are some physical books that you can get, order them online, get them to your house, and keep them in your library. And they are reference material, like Rashaad said.
Great. Did you hear that, Jen? Okay.
There you go.
All right. Next question is, how long would you say you typically spend sketching designs or doing mock-ups before you get to a final rendering or a final design, or however you want to lay that out?
Funny. You want this one, Rick?
I will take it from the approach as of the past 2 films that we've worked on, 3 films, 4 films. It's getting a lot lately. But what I've done recently is our path has been concept sketch. I will take my time and say, this is what I'm thinking. Everybody understand what that is? Cool. Let me get somebody who can really take that to the next level. It's finding the right tool for the job, which is almost every time, and in our business, the right person for the job. They are fantastic tools amongst themselves to go and do the thing. So I hired people like Elliot Fernandez to re-render my first concept render. Here's the sketch. It looks cool. All right, now here's this. And, it always looks better when people like Elliot or Yoni Lamore, people like that will re-render a concept sketch that I had. Things like the tree wolf from Loire were treated that way. There's also Rashaad, people like us are able to render out fully our own things. And that's, I think, where Rashaad's will take a different edge, because he's able to send me renders of the things already. And I'm like, well, I can get a turnaround or something from Elliot to save time, but you know, this is already what it needs to be. Cool.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of what goes into what we do started very early on in all the things that me and Rick used to watch and used to doodle. So a lot of the things that come across our desk are things that we've already wanted to create. So we've already got some form of that in our mind. It's great when the director or the producer or whoever is coming to you gives you creative freedom, because then it's like, great, this is something I already wanted to do, and here's the thing I got for it, and they love it. And other times, you know, sometimes they've got some input on what they want to see, but I know for myself, sometimes it doesn't stay in sketch form very long because I already see it in my head. So it's already being mocked up in clay, and you know, it's a 3D thing. I like a maquette that can be turned around so the person hiring you can see it from all different angles with different lighting and things like that, which is where the 3D programs like Sculptress and ZBrush come in handy, because you don't have to make a mess. Right. I love getting my hands on some clay and getting dirty, but if it's something that just needs to be shown really quickly, you can, and it does the, what's that called? Symmetry. So whatever you do on one side, it does on the other side too. So you can bust something out in like an hour that would take you 3, if not 3 times as long with traditional sculpting.
Yeah, and I've been able to recently kind of bridge that gap. Instead of taking so long to figure out the form in 3D space, I'll do a quick raw generic sculpt of a thing. And with photogrammetry, I'll just go around, scan that, and then have a head start once I get into the 3D program now. Just because I'm more of a traditional hands-on, want to sculpt with tools, at least to get the broad strokes of the shapes that I would like. And now with the fact that you can do it because your phone has all these different camera lenses on it now, you can get the scan proper and bring that into 3D space as a wireframe to begin to work with. And I found that speeds up the concept time, because people do want to see a 3D render. They want to be able to look all around, zoom in and see all the wrinkles that Rashaad was talking about you'll never see, because they want to know they're there.
We are living in the future.
Yeah. This is so fascinating. This is blowing my mind. Okay, so obviously we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the incredible Face Off, which Danica and I, that was like our show. So I guess kind of like an in general thing. What do you guys think is something important to keep in mind when you're dealing with the pressures of competing on a reality competition series?
You can go home at any minute. You got to be on your A game all the time. I think one of the things, which is weird, because when you're in it, you really don't have time to think about that stuff, which I found when I was on the show, is you're so wrapped up in what you're working on. Is occasionally you may look up and see what other people are doing, but you know that everything is riding on you getting your concept from start to finish, which kind of gave people an unrealistic idea of what we could do with full creature suits in the outside world, but that's another topic.
A whole different thing.
Yeah, thankfully, the real world does not work like the reality show. It would just burn everybody out too fast, because it's an unrealistic expectation. Face Off, I would say, goes back to an earlier question, which is you talk about a good resource. Go check out Face Off, because it shows you how the process is done now. Go check out all the back things, because you can watch how the whole process takes place. Tell Tim to hide. See him back there.
He was showing his face, his love and his support
every time. He's the Waldo. You gotta find him as the Easter egg in every event. I also because of that, I tried to not think about the competition, because we're all making art, and you're just trying to get your idea across, and it's not generally the same as the rest of the people around you. You have to do your own thing. And once you have your concept, you just, to me, the judge was always the clock. Can you get it done? Can you get it done? Because the time restraints were so overwhelming. And so I kept an eye on that because it's art, and the judges are going to be looking for things you can't anticipate. You don't know, whether it's a feeling they might have about the concept behind your character, or that your edge is just flapping loose. Like you never know what they're going to pay attention to and critique, or let go and let slide. So it was the almighty clock on the wall.
Almighty clock. All right.
Godfather time.
Something that I'm sure you get asked a lot, but I feel like we have to ask. Ballpark estimates here. How much, like with latex, modeling clay, spirit gum, would you say that show goes through in a season?
Oh,
in a season?
From like just you as one person on the show, how much did you go through ballpark?
Rashaad went through more than I did.
I mean, they were, which is funny because that was something I thought about when they have brought me back for that spinoff show. Was were they just trying to get rid of like leftover material they had? They were like, "What are we going to do with all this stuff?" Oh, I know. Let's do another show.
I can see that.
They were literally like, when we came in for that one, they were like, yeah, you guys can just use anything. We don't care. You don't really have to build the mold, but if you want to pretend like you are and run through this stuff, please do it. And I was like, okay, but we've got like an hour to do a makeup, so I won't be doing that.
Right.
It's six figures if it's $1, no matter what.
Oh wow.
See, like treasure.
There was a sketch from while I'm standing there being judged. Rick is like,
"That's awesome."
I was like, "What is he doing up there?" And then that was the episode I got sent home. He gave it to me afterwards. It was a little sketch by Mr.
Dude,
Baker.
that's so awesome.
That is amazing.
It's a treasure. If you're not, follow Rick Baker on Instagram. He is just crushing it every day. He just had a birthday, and that dude is legend every single day still. Like,
yes, wow.
Not worthy type.
We're not worthy.
It's phenomenal.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a lot when you think about, because that's something me and Rick have to do on every job, is basically break down the cost of materials, where you have some people contacting you who don't know what this stuff costs, but they're trying to get a full size thing. And they're like, well, I wanted to get this, but my budget's only like $200. And it's like, well, you can get some stuff from Walmart.
Right.
Maybe Spirit Halloween, but to get a full anything, you're going to have to deep into that pocket. And it's because it's the stuff that we get is expensive. It's not because we're living lavish or anything like that.
Right.
The materials,
they're like half. At least every job, the half of the budget is just materials, and half of the other half is the stuff that you're not thinking about.
Miscellaneous. That's
building,
what I call it.
The rent that it takes to have that whole shop. Whose shop was that has all the place to bake, all the ovens and everything for the foam latex to get rendered and all your pieces to come out. Somebody had to maintain the rent on that place, the electricity, payroll. Like there's a whole lot of things that go on. But if you're just a single person at home, there are ways to do it. You can build things, go into places like smoothon.com, order your parts pieces, get your silicone, get your resin, and you can make figures and, some masks, things like that. But when you're talking about, bigger pieces that are more involved or need to be, HD screen worthy, ready for camera and public critique, it just takes more to get that accomplished.
Fair enough. I was going to say, like, even when you go to Spirit Halloween, you get those tiny little vials of spirit gum. That's expensive as it is. So I can't even imagine. But that Demogorgon, I've seen it in person, and it is beautiful. And I'm honored that I got to see that Demogorgon. It's also frightening, but you guys did an exceptional job. And I'm glad I got to see it with the mechanics, watching it open and close. Absolutely.
Thank you. And we were glad to meet the kids from the show and Mark Steger, and just, it's a great opportunity, and it's great to have it around. We actually took it out for a little spin the other night that you'll probably get a little look at here soon. Yeah, we got some the big gear from some of the movies, and we did our own little fun thing. So it's in editing right now in post. So we'll get that out to you soon.
Weird, like, side question, but do you guys ever like walk into any of your workrooms like late at night and it's dark and you see a shadowy figure and like startle yourself from all the sculpts that you guys have?
No, I know I have this cardboard cutout of Captain Kirk that was in my living room at like 2 or 3 years ago, and I put it there. I'm the one that put it in the corner, and every single time I walked into the living room, I would jump because it's just a person standing.
Shape of a man. Oh.
William Shatner's.
William Shatner's what scared me over everything else that I walked past.
Yeah. In the dark, is it Michael Myers? I can't tell.
It could be anyone.
Good point. Good point.
When we worked on the Demogorgon with Janae Naster Cooper, who was our third, it was just the three of us that built the whole suit.
Just the
three of us. I crashed at Rashaad Studio, and I would say that would be an experience that led more to that. Because walking down the hallway in and out at night to a strange shop where you don't know where all the things are already sitting. You're like, there it is. What's up, man? Cool. No, it's good. I'm not scared.
Terrifying.
Rashaad went home a couple of hours ago. These were all...
Just Captain Kirk. You're fine.
Yep, these are all just puppets. It's all good.
Okay, so have you either on or off the show ever had to deal with a person that ended up being allergic to like adhesive or any part of the makeup? And if you're in that situation, ultimately, what can you do?
Contact emergency service immediately. Just don't play around. I mean,
For real,
it is not a place to be embarrassed or worried, or you're out of your depth already if someone's in pain. So just get to emergency services. If it's that level, 911. You want to have these conversations in advance, first and foremost. Hey, do you have any allergies to anything or any reactions? But I didn't have anything like that on the show. I don't think you did either, did you, Rashaad? But it did happen on the show.
Right.
Where I think was Bree, I think she was doing the basketball player. And whether it was just an allergic reaction, the amount of coverage, something, and they had to treat him. But if you do, just go through the proper steps, get the right people there, go before you use all your things. That's what the MSDS material safety data sheet, that's what those are for. Spin that around, take the 30 seconds to read through that and make sure what's in it before you do it. The only thing I think I've ever had an incident with wasn't even directly, was with, I think, contact lenses. And that was because we were out in elements. We were live on set. It was like being on Inuwati. We were on Lawa, and you're outside. Everybody's got on like bug spray. It's just one of those things, and you're trying to find a sterile environment to pop in and out contacts. And it was the same thing, straight ER, whatever it needs to be. You get the person dealt with and make sure they're okay. Apologies, but you try to stay clear of any of that stuff well in advance. Do your diligence. Make sure, don't go on any railroad tracks, that kind of stuff. Seriously.
Noted.
Remember Sarah.
Well, next question I have is, which of your creations, either on or off the show, do you think deserve more recognition? Feel free.
Take it, buddy.
We want you to brag.
I really liked my the Wang Doodle. I think I got, or I can't remember. It was from the Whimsical Challenge. I think it was like episode 7 or 8. I can't remember.
Curse word. Why you gotta speak such profane terms?
And
hurts my heart.
And I was really happy because I wanted to go, again, looking around the room at what everybody else is doing. There were lots of colors, and brights and, you know, and I went the opposite route. I was like, fine, then I'll do a lack of color, which is just kind of like, I did black and white and then everything in between and blended the colors. It was like half was like this whimsical swirly shape, and then the other half was kind of like the shadowy dark, I don't even know what you would call it. And I came up with like this cool story for them, and they were like, well, yeah, I guess it's okay. You're safe. I think I got safe on that challenge. I was like, oh man, I was the only one that went different. And they were just like, get out of here with that. I guess I went too far left. They want it like right on the nose. And I just went too different than what everybody else did. So
yeah, I went home on whimsical, so I don't think I got that one right. But I was fine with they said, you know, on another challenge, you know, you could have won potentially. We were just one of these kids is doing his own thing, man. I don't know, because I was up against the same thing Rashaad was dealing with, and we got Crooked Man as far as whimsical. And they wanted crooked, or was it fanciful, odd, and bizarre? That's the definition of whimsical, and we had odd and bizarre covered. We did not have fanciful at all. You know, so that was an underappreciated, but they gave it the props. The judges did. You know, that may not be on the episode in the cut, but they were like, yeah, you did a good job and whatnot. But you know, I thought the fawn up here was one of my favorites. The first episode, first challenge team with Lainey.
Nice.
It was just, I would like to see that character in something. And that was what I really dug about it. The talent, the model who came out and brought that character to life. She was also our Frankenstein model for the second challenge or whatever it was. But they brought it to life I was like, oh yeah, man, I can't wait to see more of that one.
Awesome.
You know, so that would be my favorite.
Well, maybe we will see more in the future. That'd be really cool, Rick.
Never know.
Ooh, dun, dun, dun. Okay, so I think just a question, and I'm sure you guys get asked this a lot, but what were your thoughts when the series ultimately did come to a close?
I was kind of on the fence about it. Although, you know, it did have a great run. I felt like it was good that it took a beat and, you know, to potentially build for a return. Because a lot of the challenges and what was coming out with, they were kind of getting repetitive. There's only so much you can do. With a show like that has challenges that so many are almost identical. I mean, pretty much scraping the bottom of the barrel of ideas for the show. And but it did have a good run. It had 13 seasons. So 13, right?
13. Unlucky for some.
It had 13 seasons, and soon will eventually make a return.
Yeah. Wait, what? You think it'll come back?
I mean, it's too good of a thing to not to. I mean,
yeah,
how long
everything
has it been
comes
gone?
back now. The whole Hollywood is Pet Cemetery, right?
The last season was what, 2018?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
You know, in Hollywood and, you know, content terms now, we'll see what happens in 2021 with the resurgence of properties that have been dormant for a while. But I'm with Rashaad. All good things must come to an end. And then at some point, you get enough space from that, and you get another trilogy, or you get a live series or something, you know.
All right.
So so there's room for it, and I know for a while our gracious host Mackenzie Westmore and the Westmore family, Mr. Westmore Michael, I know that they had supported doing something else with it from what we see on their Twitter and their hashtags and everything. So we would all love to see that. It's a fantastic show. I think the best thing about it is the relationship that it gave us with the fans. There are 100+ face-off people now that are artists that have competed on the show. And we are able to go when it's safe, and we'll be able to, again, go around the world to conventions and things and meet the fans. And one thing they always say, and they're right, Rashaad, is that we watch this with our family, and, we can watch it with the kids, and it's something we all love because it was void for the most part of any of the drama you would find on another show.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure,
the camaraderie.
Yeah, it was. You were trying to make art here. We're trying to make some things and do some creativity. I thought they were onto something, and we recommended them. Rashaad and I reached out to them while we were doing our films. Hashtag Face Off Evolution, where they started doing, at least on one series, after we had talked a little bit, whether they had already planned it or not, they shot little mini movies on the show, and there's a lot of legs there. I think, you know, you could make almost a face-off show worth of behind the scenes out of obviously any feature that comes out. But if you take the best of the ideas and then develop those further, you know, I think Rashaad, Tate, Steinseck, and I are the three artists that have moved on to directing films. Castle Freak, go see it. Tate Steinseck movie just came out. Yeah, I think that there's room for it. For Face Off, we'd love to see more.
Please, please, please. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking, Danica. Why don't we play our game, and then after the game, we can talk about all of your guys' upcoming projects and anything else we want to plug in. We have so many more questions, but I don't want to keep you guys forever. Okay, so let's do this. So
we'll have to do it again.
Okay. I mean, like we literally have 20 more questions, but we're going to play a little game right now. This is a game of Would You Rather. There is no wrong answers. And if you guys want to elaborate on why you picked something or didn't, that's totally up to you. If not, we'll move right along. So this is a game of Would You Rather. Oh gosh, I feel like this. Okay. Would you rather always create beautiful fairy creatures or always create evil, monstrous creatures?
Evil creatures for sure.
Monster creatures.
Yep.
Okay.
I love the beautiful ones. I'm just not as skilled at creating them. I like the wrinkles and textures of the monsters.
Oh yeah. All day. All day.
All right. Here's the next one.
All right. Solid. Next one. Would you rather live in the universe of the last movie you saw or live in the universe of the last TV show you saw?
Rashaad, what's the last movie you watched?
Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
Oh,
nice.
So you want to be claymation? Got it. All right.
Oh my God, who doesn't?
That would be
That'd be awesome.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that.
Rick, what are you thinking?
Well, I just, if I had the choice, I just rewatched Infinity War, so that would be the movie. But series, obviously, every week watching Mandalorian. So I would go obviously with the latter and go with the TV show, and I would be in the Star Wars universe.
Okay.
Yeah, the last show I watched was Raised by Wolves. That show was actually really good.
Oh, yeah. Ridley Scott.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
although
so
I wouldn't want to live there.
No.
No, you're claymation, Rashaad. We demand it. Here's the pitch to you, Rick. How about a distorted, monstrous Baby Yoda? Or what was the baby's name?
See also some stuff that
Grogu.
Rashaad has done.
Grogu.
Yeah, little baby Grogu.
Grogu.
Yeah. We'll see what choices he has in store for his future. You never know. He may go down that route. But if you wanted to see a little evil version of that, yeah, there's some really cool concepts of evil Yodas and things like that, man. I'd be totally down to see that species gone the wrong way.
Yeah, that'd be super.
That would be very dangerous, obviously.
Yeah.
Look how cute.
Make good choices, baby Grogu. Make good choices.
He's a good trainer, that's all.
Yeah. All right, here's the next one. Would you rather always wear a facial prosthetic when you leave the house? So this is every time you leave the house, okay? Or only be able to wear body paint out in public?
Oh.
Now,
Yeah.
you can pick the prosthetic, all right? Like
It's cold outside right now. That would not be impressive. Yeah, I think I'm going with as much wear and tear as it is.
Prosthetic.
Full exposure, man. I'm going with the prosthetic.
That's an
Cold
easy
outside.
choice.
That would be
Sounds miserable.
shrinkage.
And you said we could pick which prosthetic it is?
Yes, you can pick the prosthetic.
Oh, even
What?
better.
Yeah.
Has to be the same one?
No.
Oh, okay.
Any prosthetic. What are you going to pick, Rashaad?
I picked Freddy.
Ooh.
Okay.
I'd go out as Kruger.
Yeah. Good luck picking your kids up from school.
Yeah, right.
I don't think he's allowed. I don't think he's allowed on school property.
No, I don't think so. Rick, what about you?
If I had to wear a prosthetic, I would change it up every day. I would just roll through all the baldies. I would be, just any given thing, any different day.
I love it.
Yeah, I got a lot of horns.
Or any given Sunday.
Yeah, I go Night King. I go Darth Maul. I can any ball guy with horns. I think I could do.
I want to do something like Lost Boys, just like something.
Just the brow.
Yeah,
Okay.
just like a furrowed brow, because I don't want to do my eyebrows every day. It's so like intricate. But anyway, here's the
just lotion, moisturize, that whole man. Get your face up.
All right. Would you rather have the ability to teleport or have the ability to go invisible?
Teleport.
Oh, that was fast.
I won't need to be invisible if I could just vanish to someplace else.
Yeah.
You save so much on gas.
Sneaking into the bank or whatever, if you were invisible, just poop in, poop
you could
out.
just in and out. There you go.
So where would you guys go?
Australia.
Ooh, down under. Okay.
I'll go down under.
Down under. And Rick would go to the bank. Okay.
Rick would be a criminal.
Well, I would have
we
to
already
be
know
able
who the villain is.
I would have to be able to afford the suit to make sure I could get to Mars or someplace like that and live. Because what if you teleport to the wrong place and you can't survive there? So trip to the bank first, get the stuff that you need.
Okay.
But he didn't say he would rob it. He just
didn't
said,
say I would rob it.
What if he
I'll just teleport to the teller and be like, here's what I need. I need a loan. See what I can do? Give me a loan.
Okay.
I wonder if it's rules of like Nightcrawler rules and like the kid from Umbrella Academy rules where it's like you have to be able to see the place that you're teleporting.
See where you're going.
Yeah. Or you just like boop. And
I guess that would make sense because you would have to know where you're. I mean, teleportation only makes sense if you know where you're going.
Again, poof, NASA, get the right suit, talk to somebody. Is this work? Cool. Look in a telescope, look at the moon, look at Mars. Cool. Boop. Gone.
Get your ass to Mars.
Okay.
Get your ass to Mars.
Get your ass to Mars.
And you teleport and then you have 3 boobs. What?
Yeah.
All right.
You just.
Right. Here's the next.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, hi Tim. Bye Tim. Okay, here's the next one. Would you rather collaborate with John Carpenter or collaborate with David Cronenberg?
John Carpenter. For sure.
I think Carpenter gets the lean mainly because I also want to collaborate on the music.
Oh yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? Cronenberg, all hail, but I think Carpenter gets it because the music and the franchise history too. There's a little bit to that.
Oh yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. I'm just like really oddly attracted to that fly. I don't know what it is. Just maybe the way he's looking at me.
It was Jeff Goldblum. That's why.
I don't know. Yeah,
the swagger's in there somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. All right, here's the next one.
All right. Would you rather do special effects for a cinematic wrestling match or create a Power Rangers monster?
Power Rangers monster.
Wrestling match.
Oh.
I'm going with the live performance. I think there's a lot to that that's more than just the special effects gag. I think there's events and things like that. And I've done a bunch of robot stuff. There's this guy standing right here. Big prowl, big robot right there. What do you know about that guy? Yeah. I got my own Power Ranger already. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Power Ranger monster. That's just right up there with like when they turn big and giant monster, they're fighting in the city. That's
a generational thing. That may be a generational thing. You grew up on Power Rangers, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I missed that. That was.
So the reason why we asked this question, we'll circle back, is like in one of your films, you have a couple wrestlers and you got a couple Power Rangers. So we figured we just.
Oh yeah. Combine the two.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right.
I like it.
All right. Here's the next one. Would you rather always wear face paint like Darth Maul or always wear a Vader helmet? Rick, we know.
Hey!
I'll say Vader helmet.
For social distancing. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, honestly, I'm going Vader helmet too.
Oh.
If you know what it's like to put that stuff on, No.
The amount of time that must take.
Oh man.
Sounds awful.
Yeah.
Rick's holding the horns down on his head. He's like,
Oh no.
Nope.
No. Not again. But every time we need to, in case there's any, kids events, I'm headed to the 501st to make sure that we get to keep that relationship going. But yeah, Vader helmet's so much better. And since no one can understand what you're saying anyway with your mask on, let's at least get proper with the visage.
Perfect.
Yes.
I love it.
And of course, we have to have a moment for David Prowse, who passed away recently, and he's forever one of the greats.
All right. Well, our next one is, would you rather, this is our last one actually, reimagine Villeneuve's Beetlejuice or Mrs. Doubtfire?
Neither.
Right.
I mean, yeah,
I would hate to have to do it, but if it's gonna be done and they're giving me this is happening, Rick.
Right.
Either way, either you do it or somebody else does it. I'd probably rather somebody else do it, but I would pick Beetlejuice.
Ah.
Oh, he said it 3 times.
I want it. Where's he at? Come on, homie. I'm late every time.
I guess
mainly because RJ, man, RJ crushes Mrs. Doubtfire. I wouldn't want anybody to do that but him. RJ Hattie, props. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, I guess Beetlejuice too, because it's Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I think you got some liberty to take that a little bit further, maybe. V did a great job, but she kept most of Michael Keaton there, and if you stretch that a little bit more, some more wrinkles, some goodness, and he gets to change a lot. You're talking about the different versions of Beetlejuice.
Fair.
Change your head.
Yeah. Man.
Have you seen the Broadway version of Beetlejuice? No. It's definitely a different take. Very different take. Yeah, you should check it out. It's interesting. I'm very curious now to see who designed that. But okay, so that was our game.
I especially always have to mention.
Yay! Who won?
The Beetlejuice musical. I have to mention how rad the set design is.
Yes, 100%.
Who won? The audience.
Yay! They sure did. Congrats to you.
Audience.
Okay, so before we wrap things up, we want to talk about all of the great, wonderful upcoming projects that you guys have. I mean, you guys have a lot going on. Okay, so I guess the first question is, what can you tell us about Beast of the Water? Question mark.
Everything.
Okay, let's hear it. Listen, tell us all.
Well, as everybody know, it is out and you can watch it. It is on Amazon. You can purchase it. It's actually on Amazon, I think, you can just watch it. There goes Rick's copy.
Yeah, you can watch it streaming on Amazon, or you can get yourself a Blu-ray, DVD. It's available, however.
There he goes. That's the Beast. And
what up, Beast?
It very much started out as is this like a time question? Are we trying to get like a couple more in here?
We're on your time.
Oh, okay, then good. Then get comfortable.
Girl, I got my popcorn, got my drink. Yeah.
It started out as I remember watching a behind the scenes documentary for Tremors, and the director or the writer, I can't remember which one it was basically wrote down on a piece of paper an idea. Basically, what if I was stuck on this rock and there was something under the sand trying to get me? That was basically the first comment for what the movie would become. And I said, you know what? I've been doing all these recreations, Predator and Alien and stuff like that. I want to have something of my own. I want to have my own classic monster, which started out as like this weird lizard thingy that was a Native American legend that had the ability to manifest itself from water. And basically my first comment was, what if there, was like a puddle that this monster could basically come out of and grab you and pull you into his world? And that's basically how it started. And I started sketching the monster and writing down little movie notes and things that might be cool to happen. And then
how many interpretations of the monster did you have before you landed on the version in the film?
Well, there was the initial lizard version, and then so he's only gone through 2 versions. Yeah, the first design I had sent over to Steve Wang to look at, just to ask his thoughts on what he felt the monster, if he liked it, if he thought it was cool. And he thought it was cool, but he just felt like it was lacking character. I think that was one of the notes that he put, and I was like, cool, lacking character, great. So I went back, and very next sketch I did was what he turned out to be, which was something that I wanted to see, which was more, I don't want to say organic, but just I'm very inspired by Samael the Hellhound from the first Hellboy movie.
Oh.
And just the amount of, there's no way to just like describe how awesome he is and the amount of detail that went into that suit. And that was kind of like my other inspiration of getting that kind of texture and design into my monster. And so I drew that up, and then I think I had a friend of mine write up just a brief script, and it was the generic story. These teens for college break or whatever, they go to this Native American place, and one of them winds up defiling like a statue, and then they get hunted down by the Anunnaki. And that story kind of changed. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just try to do a Kickstarter for this. I can do a Kickstarter, get the money, we'll put everything together. Of course, I didn't know what the hell I was doing at the time, but I was just a young, excited, wanting to be filmmaker. And I did a Kickstarter for it, and that fell through. And then Rick was like, he saw that it fell through, and he was like, hey man, he goes, I'm currently working on my first feature. I've had some people who were gracious enough to give me a 3-picture deal. If you're willing to wait a year from now till we can reconnect, I can put you in touch with them. You could tell them your movie idea, and we'll see where it goes. So I wasn't doing anything. So I was like, cool, I'll wait the year. That'll give me some time to work on the story. And then this is where I will take my mic and pass it over to Rick. Here you go.
And now I'm about to pass the mic. What up?
That was very smooth.
Very smooth.
Don't catch us in a T-Mobile store. We'll take over all the phone displays. That I was just finishing up. Of course, we had both finished Face Off at this point. This is 2015 going into 2016. And 2014, I guess, was when my episode aired. Season 5, season 6, right after that. So I was filming Loa, All Saints Eve. That's my first film. It's also available on Amazon if you want to check it out. LWA, All Saints Eve. I was finishing up that film, and we had all watched Rashaad just crush through. I was like, go, he won, he won. We're watching, from the sidelines like you do as fans of the show. And then we had the good fortune that they cast season 5 and season 6 together. So we were able to meet during casting. So it wasn't just watching a stranger. I knew Rashaad from Silent Frisbee and the different weird things that we had to do because you can't talk when you're sequestered and all this kind of nonsense that they make you do for reality shows so they don't spoil anything. So we met each other as monsters in the hallway of a Holiday Inn Express or whatever. And he smiled. I was like, I'll recognize that smile anywhere. And I hit the lights on mine, and we were best monster pals. Aww. So I was finishing up my movie. I'd watched what he had done on the show. He's a natural. He's going to crush it. He did. And it was the show that brought the angel investors to me in the first place. Because they were here in Nashville. They just moved. Their daughter loved the show. Was like, oh man, this guy look, it says Nashville. What the what?
What the what?
What? So, Rashaad comes to me. Says, "Hey, I've got this idea. I want to do it." And I was like, "All right, hang tight, buddy. Let's check it out." So we developed the script together. He's like, "I've got this, but it was 40 pages and not going the direction necessarily that we wanted it to go." We were getting feedback on directions that we might need to head for the 3-picture deal. So we adjusted the script. I wrote that for Rashaad to get it fleshed out. We hammered on it together back and forth for almost a year. and then he presented it, got it greenlit, and it went into production.
Oh my gosh.
Wonder Twin Power Activate. Yeah, man. It was a dream come true when I got the chance, and to be able to pass that opportunity on to Rashaad to go again and have another director, let's just grow the stable. Let's do it.
That's congrats to both of you guys. That is so incredible. And I cannot wait. Like, I ran out of stuff to binge watch, and now I'm just like, now I need stuff to watch. And this is the perfect timing. I'm going to watch both of your films.
Thank you so much. It really is.
Yes.
You caught it home. Check us out. It's low on the end, and you get to see what we're able to do first starting out. These are both our first time making movies, and each time it gets better. By the time I got into Rashaad's, that was my second film. So, all right, cool. We got this. So his was almost 3 times what mine was. And then that led to Puppet Master, The Littlest Reich, which was even bigger than Beast of the Water. And, you got named actors in that, Thomas Lennon, and a lot of great people in the Cinestate group bringing that together, and Fangoria teamed up. So that closed out the 3, and 1, 2, 3. They're all available now for you to watch, and we couldn't be more thankful and grateful. Thank you, Pam and Foster, forever.
Oh my gosh! Oh, I'm so happy. And okay, so the other things, Danica, doing a.
Yeah, we also want to mention something that Rick told us just beforehand. Convergence with John Cooley, who's making snide comments in our comment page.
Yeah. Like, y'all get to talk about what y'all doing next. Yeah, so that's what we did. And we have finished those up. Those are all available. But yeah, Rashaad and I are both building creatures and good stuff for Mr. John Cooley. He has got a upcoming film called Convergence. And Rashaad and I are both separately and independently tasked to build together on the same awesome thing. Rashaad's in New York. I'm in Nashville. So we're working from our own shops. And it's some really cool stuff.
I thought you could teleport. Wait, was that not real? Okay.
As soon as it goes live, you just presented the option. I'm waiting. Right. Hang on, let me try. Gotta look someplace. I'm in the same room. That's what it is. I went. I came right back.
Right. You moved over an inch.
Instantaneous.
And then the other thing that you mentioned to us, Rick, was today you were working on a music video for Ben Schuler.
Hey, Ben Schuler. Yeah, I just raced home and got here just in time to get live for this because it was on day 2 of production. Thankfully, there was finally another production gig. We're all masked up. Everybody's wearing safety gear. But we're able to get into a production, and he's shooting a music video for his upcoming release. And check his Instagram, all his following pages, good stuff. Hey, Ben Schuler.
Heck yeah. And the last, okay, we literally have a gazillion more questions. Let's do part 2. Let's end on this, Rashaad. I saw you were promoting something called Terror from Beyond. So what can you tell us about Terror from Beyond?
Beyond.
Beyond.
Too beyond. It just it's so far.
Yeah, it's that far beyond. It's twice.
Well, it's just my love letter to the black and white monster movies of the 1950s and the 1960s. Giant monster, infant gets killed, and she comes ashore seeking justice. And I'm actually, my display room is actually filled with little miniature buildings and tanks and things like that I had to move out of the way for this. There's some more things that have to be shot. I've got about 32 minutes of footage, all edited and cut together. There's a couple of more shots and like one big final sequence that needs to be filmed. But it's a lot harder to, make a movie when it's just you. So I've just been, for the movie, I took about a month and a half off of commissions, and then I had to hop back on commissions and get my commissions all done. And then now I'm reaching the tail end of those, so I'll be able to get back onto the movie and finish that up. But it's really cool. We were able to do a lot that I didn't know whether or not I was going to be able to do. I had no idea how this whole thing was going to work. I just knew I wanted to make this movie, and the Kickstarter was funded, and it was going to be made. And we had a lot of people come on and just come in and make miniature buildings that plug into the wall, that light up, little windows, little furniture inside it. Like, there's so much behind the scenes stuff that's gonna come out for everybody to see. So that's gonna be a 2021 release. I was hoping to have it done by the end of this year, but it'll be out by next year. Just keep an eye out for Terror from Beyond and Beyond.
Yay! So okay. So we know you like Predator, but you mentioned it's kind of 1950s, 1960s. Do you have like a favorite creature or monster from that time period?
I sure do. Godzilla. So it's like spaced.
Godzilla.
Yes. Which, you know, whatever they're doing with the series now, they're ruining it. But
haven't seen it.
The 1954 Godzilla was the first one that I was able to watch when I was younger, and it was watching that movie that kind of got the wheels turning for wanting to do what I do now. I was like, I don't know what I'm watching, but whatever that is. So being able to make a movie like that now it's almost full circle. Everything has come full circle.
I can't even imagine. So, and obviously, Rick and Rashaad, you guys I've seen you guys at conventions all around, well, the US. I haven't been overseas yet, but have you had the opportunity to meet any of the original Godzilla in-suit actors?
I got to meet one. He was I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he played Godzilla in the 2001 film.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I got to meet Shinichi Wakasa. He was the Godzilla suit builder from like I want to say, he helped build a lot of the suits from the 90s, and then he went on to building the suits all the way to like 2004.
How cool. So, my husband saying we met, I don't want to mispronounce the name, Kitagawa. I guess that's who we met at one of the conventions in passing, which is pretty awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
So I feel like we've talked your ear off, and you guys have shared so much. And we're so
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
Hey,
what is each of your favorite terrible B horror movies from like the 50s? Because I mean, I could go through the list of basically Mystery Science Theater movies, because they've covered most of them. Like the Creeping Terror, Attack of the Giant Gila Monster,
Manos
versus the Martians, like
Hands of Fate.
There's some really bad creatures in there.
I think it's like things like the Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, things like that. I love it, but it's so absurd.
So bad. I would say Them.
Oh my God, I used to love that movie. Okay, fun side story. So my next door neighbor and I used to watch that at least once a week, and then we would walk home together from like elementary school. We should not have been walking home alone together. Just saying.
Yo, what's up, Coral?
We would be singing the theme song for Them and thinking that all of the little ants the giant ants were going to come attack us from the alleys we're walking through. None of this is okay. But
Danica, why are you walking through alleys?
Totally realistic.
Elementary. It was midnight.
This explains
the 80s. What are you going to do?
It's a healthy fear.
Yeah, love it. Okay. Anyway, so part 2 coming soon. Like I said, we barely scratched the surface. Thank you guys thank you so much for this. We've been looking forward to this since you guys agreed to come on. Danica, do you want to go over our upcoming guests?
Let's do it. All right. Coming Thursday, December 17th, actor Jeffrey Weissman.
You'll know him from Back to the Future Part 2 and 3. He's George McFly.
Yep. And then Tuesday, December 22nd, we've got Casey Jost.
From Impractical Insider and Impractical Jokers.
And on Tuesday, December 29th, we've got Jonah Ray.
From the remake of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Dab, dab, dab.
On January 5th, the incomparable Roger Clark.
Who you'll know as the actor from Red Dead 2.
Dead Redemption.
And then, of course, on Tuesday, January 12th, we've got Jimbo.
From Canada's Drag Race. We love Jimbo the Drag Cron so much.
On January 14th, we've got Glenn Sobel.
He is the drummer from Alice Cooper and also the Hollywood Vampires. And is that the end of our... Oh,
yes. And then on Tuesday, January 26th, we've got Lucas Rossi.
Who is a singer that won the TV show Rockstar and became in the band Rockstar Supernova. So, yay! Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, before we wrap this up, any final thoughts from either of y'all?
Just want to say thank you, Kid and Danica from Talkulture, for having us on, man. It's been great. Got to do this again for that part 2 we're talking about.
Oh yeah, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, however many.
You keep in questions. We'll keep coming on.
You said it. I'm going to hold you to that, Rashaad.
We have it on tape. All right, guys. Well, I guess we will see everybody Thursday, and everybody be safe. Wear your mask, please, 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 and we'll see you guys on Thursday. Bye, everybody.
Bye.